I'm here with my good man, Billy Carson.
Not okay to show up at 2:29 a.m. at my house, terrifying my teenage daughter.
It was an ambush.
Not allegedly, factually. Not okay. Factually. I've stayed quiet for a month plus.
The Billy Carson debate with Wes Huff, yeah, we all remember how that went down. It was a career disaster for Billy, and things only got worse when he turned his attention to Mark, the podcast host. Billy went as far as showing up at Mark's house at 2:29 a.m. with cease and desist papers, all in a desperate attempt to stop the debate video from going public. Well, the video still got out, and Mark stayed quiet for a while. But now Mark is breaking his silence, and trust me, things are about to get a lot more interesting.
Something I forgot. Had his security guy come and hand my 9-year-old son at the time, on Sunday after that, a cease and desist letter, not from a lawyer, but that he had written to my 9-year-old son to come up and hand deliver to me. Anyway, talk about crossing boundaries.
Knowing that Mark's kids were dragged into this mess makes the whole thing so much worse. It's heartbreaking to see how Billy's ego and pride destroyed what used to be a strong, long-term friendship. It's a sad situation all around. Big respect for Mark and Wes for exposing Billy's true character and bringing it into the spotlight.
At 2:29 a.m., my teenage daughter wakes me up terrified, saying, Dad, someone's outside, like, ringing our doorbell over and over again. I'm really scared. I'm like, waking up like, what? Groggy. I look on my phone camera. I see Billy standing out there, dressed in the suit, holding a paper. And I tell my daughter, just come here. Just don't even answer the door right now. It's going to be all right. She's like, Dad, I'm scared. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but don't answer the door right now. Everything's going to be all right. It's not allegedly. That was factually showing up at 2:29 a.m. with, I don't know what he had in his hand. I can assume it was a handwritten cease and desist that he wrote from seeing what he texted me. That was very weird, very strange. Not okay. My daughter was terrified by this weird reaction. I saw him mention somewhere else that Mark and I both grind. It's normal. There's times I'll text him at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or he might, and we're in different time zones, and we may or may not respond based on if we're awake or sleep, but we do not go to each other's house at 2:29 a.m. dressed up like that, holding a letter, unless there was some emergency, like my son was staying the night at their house and something horrible happened. But absolutely not do we cross these types of boundaries. That was strange, weird, and absolutely threatening behavior that terrified my daughter. Not allegedly, factually. Not okay. Factually. I've stayed quiet for a month plus. And you think that I'm sitting here behind the scenes like I'm some wussy underdog. No, I wasn't even going to sink down to the level of this nonsense. Because strategically, I'm building this up behind the scenes so I can move onward and upward.
I've watched Billy Carson a few times, and honestly, it's been frustrating. He's out here on some of the world's biggest platforms, tearing down Christianity and planting lies in the ears of millions. You know that saying, lies can travel halfway around the world while the truth is still tying its shoes? That's exactly what's happening. Thankfully, with all the recent exposure, maybe we can finally slow those lies down. But let's be real about Billy for a second. He keeps pointing fingers, blaming everyone else for what's going wrong. At the end of the day, though, he's the one responsible for his words, his actions, and his so-called forbidden knowledge. And what gets me is how he lashes out at others instead of just owning up to his mistakes. Imagine if he could just come out and say, you know what? I was wrong. I need to rethink everything I've been saying. The worst part? There are actually people out here defending him, claiming he was ambushed.
Showed up with his boy, thinking he's helping his boy out. Little did he know it was a damn ambush.
It was an ambush.
Right when I got off the phone with Wesley, I called my good man and was like, bro, I want to know if it's okay with you if I have Wesley Huff, who is and I went over all his credentials, a Bible historian, I still butcher the word, like linguist, all his stuff, to be able to join us on the show. And I flat out said to Billy, my good man, because when it comes to all your ancient books you study, the Emerald Tablets, all the other things, I don't know anything about that, bro. But this guy's an expert. And he'll be able to come in and we can all have a conversation when it comes to those things. He'll be able to join in and talk about that with you. Why I join in. No, I was never meant to be a freaking moderator, everyone. For the love of God. You'll hear more about that later. And I never am, if you've seen my previous shows. They're conversations that we have. Anyway. But I was like, I would never want to have someone like that just jump in on a show and like catch you off guard without you being cool with it. I would never do that. And he was like, oh yeah, bro. Like, Mark, yeah, that's totally fine. For sure. Let's do it. You see, Wesley then counteracts it. And then I believe his response, very humbly and nicely, by the way, was like, fair enough. I was like in shock when that happened because I was like, wait, what? I mean, that was nice and humble, but wait, fair enough. Hold on, wait, what? Because I'm used to my man Billy talking and going on and telling me all these points and tangents, and I thought he was going to have him. I truly, in my heart, honest to God, thought that he was going to have all these things to rebuttal him on and be like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's what I was used to knowing. So when he's like, fair enough, I was like, I was like, what is going on right now? Okay, how do we keep moving this forward? So we started getting into the other points. I believe like Jesus, the book that was so-called written in the Harvard libraries, you guys have all seen it. Wesley went through the factual methodologies, broke it down, how that was proven to be like historically across all communities a fraud. Again, I thought it was going to be like, no, because of blah, blah, blah. I was shut up that whole time. And then again, he's like, okay, yeah. Whatever he said, like, if that's right, like, I'll take your word on that. And I'm sitting here in the room like, what is happening right now? Because even as we were coming into this debate conversation show, I sat right next to my man before we recorded, again, with full consent.
To me, this is a prime example of someone building a career by mocking the sacred things of Christianity. Scripture is clear. God will not be mocked. Those who choose to mock him will face the consequences, whether it's here on earth or when they stand before him on Judgment Day. That's not just a warning. It's a reality we all need to take seriously. And as Christians, we have a responsibility to speak up and defend the truth of the gospel. It's not enough to sit back and watch while sacred things are mocked and misrepresented. We're called to stand firm in our faith, to correct falsehoods with love and wisdom, and to be a light in a world that often twists or rejects the truth. The gospel is too precious, too powerful to let lies drown it out. Let's not shy away from standing up for what we believe.